Hello, everybody. I'm Miguel Sanchez, and welcome to episode 18 of Movie History, Walt Disney Animation Studios. And get ready, guys, because we're about to witness some magic in the air. Because in today's episode, we're about to feel the sorcery in your hands. Yay, my friends. So thank you all for coming, and we're glad to have myself back here at my home base after 4 days in Cocoa Beach. So thank you all for tuning in today, and now let's get started with today's episode of Movie History, Walt Disney Animation Studios, and don't forget to comment later for Moshi Monster Biography, episode 393, as we take a look at Sprocket, the other half of Sprocket Hubs. So please stay tuned. But right now, everybody, let's come to start. So are you ready for it? Great. Then let's get started. So for episode 18, we are taking a look at The Sword and the Stone. Oh my gosh, can't believe, get ready, guys. What you're about to see is totally unreal. And so what will be happening today, right here. And if you haven't seen our previous episode, then please go check it out. Episode 17 was about 101 Dalmatians, so check out the video right now. The link to that will be on the top right corner of the screen, so check out the video right now and see how it unfolds. Got it? Good. With that being said, let's get right into it. You ready? Then here we go. So, about the movie. Let's see what the movie's about. About the movie. The Sword and the Stone is a 1963 American animated musical fantasy comedy film produced by Walt Disney and released by Buena Vista Distribution. That's right. American animated musical fantasy comedy film. Got it. Good. The 18th Disney animated feature film is based on T.H. White's novel of the same name, published in 1938 as a single novel. Yeah. It is based on T.H. White's novel of the same name, published in 1938 as a single novel, then republished in 1958 as the first book of the Arthurian tetralogy, The Once and Future King. Directed by Wolfgang Reitherman, the film features voices of Ricky Sorensen, Carl Swenson, Junius Matthews, Sebastian Cabot, Norman Alden, and Martha Wentworth. Walt Disney first acquired the film rights to the novel in 1939, and various attempts at developing the film lasted 2 decades before actual production on the film officially began. The Sword and Stone was the last animated film from Walt Disney Productions to be released during Walt Disney's lifetime before his death on September 15th, 1966. Oh my gosh. Unbelievable. We'll talk about that in the next episode, which would be The Jungle Book, so please stay tuned for it when it comes out. Alright. Bill P. wrote the story for the film, while the songs were written and composed by the Sherman Brothers. This marked the first contribution of the Sherman Brothers to the music in an animated Disney film, and they would later write the music for other Disney films, such as Mary Poppins for 1964, The Jungle Book for 1967, which I'll talk about in the next episode, The Aristocats for 1970, which I'll talk about in the episode after that, and The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh from 1977, and I'll talk about in the episode after that. So keep your eyes peeled. George Bruns composed the film's score. The third animated film he has scored for Disney following Sleeping Beauty from 1959 and 101 Dalmatians from 1961. And again, 101 Dalmatians was discussed in the past episodes. So in the previous episodes, please go check it out. As for Sleeping Beauty, it was on episode. It was on the episode before that, episode 16. So please check out these 2 episodes you haven't seen yet. Bruns later composed the score for the next 3 Disney animated films: The Jungle Book, The Aristocats, and Robin Hood from 1973. So that means the Jungle Book goes first, followed by The Aristocats, and then Robin Hood, and then the Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. These will be the next 4 episodes in this series, so stay tuned for those. The film received mixed reviews, but it became a box office success. It was released to theaters on March 25th, 1983, on a double bill with Winnie the Pooh and A Day for Eeyore. A live-action remake of the film, directed by Juan Carlos Fresnadillo, entered development in 2015 as to be released on Disney Plus, which is Disney's very own streaming service. Yeah, I know. Let's take a look at stats here. Directed by Wolfgang Reitherman, produced by Walt Disney, story by Bill Peet, based on The Sword and Stone by T.H. White, starring Ricky Sorensen, Carl Swenson, Junius Matthews, Sebastian Cabot, Norman Alden, and Martha Wentworth. Music by George Bruns, edited by Donald Halliday. Production companies Walt Disney Productions, distributed by Buena Vista Distribution. Release date December 16, 1963. Running time is 79 minutes. Countries in the United States. Language is English. Budget is $3 million. And the box office, $22.2 million. So, yeah, now you know, my friends. Everything you need to know. Let's get to the plot. And it's going to be a big one, so keep your eyes peeled for it. Here we go. After the King of England, Arthur Pendragon dies, leaving no heir to the throne, a sword magically appears impaled in an anvil in London, with an inscription proclaiming that whoever removes the sword is the rightful king of England. None succeeded in removing the sword, which becomes forgotten, leaving England in the Dark Ages. Years later, somewhere in the West Country, a 12-year-old orphan named Arthur, commonly called Wart, accidentally scares off a deer his older foster brother Sir Kay was hunting, causing Kay to launch his arrow into the forest. In attempting to retrieve the arrow, Arthur meets Merlin, an elderly wizard who lives with his talking pet owl, Archimedes. I don't know how to pronounce it. That's okay. Merlin declares himself Arthur's tutor and returns with him to his home, a castle run by Sir Ector, Arthur's foster father and Kay's father. Ector's friend, Sir Pellinore, arrives to announce that the annual jousting tournament will be held in London, but this year's winner will be crowned king. Ector decides to put Kay through serious training for the tournament and appoints Arthur as Kay's squire. To educate Arthur, Merlin transforms himself and the boy into fish and swim in the castle moat to learn about physics, but they are attacked by a pike. Arthur is nearly eaten, but he is saved by Archimedes. But after the lesson, Arthur is sent to the kitchen and as punishment for attempting to relate his lesson to a disbelieving actor and Kay. Merlin enchants the dishes to wash themselves, then takes Arthur for another lesson, turning them into squirrels to learn about gravity and male-female relationships. But they are both infatuated by two girl squirrels. After returning to human form, and when they return to the castle again, Ector accuses Merlin of using black magic on the dishes, which he and Kay discovered and unsuccessfully tried to fight off. Arthur defiantly defends Merlin, but Ector refuses to listen and punishes Arthur by giving Kay another squire, Hobbs, and also revokes Arthur's chance of going to London. Resolving to make amends, Merlin plans on educating Arthur full-time. However, Merlin's knowledge of future events such as trains, planes, and a revelation the Earth is round confuses Arthur, prompting Merlin to appoint Archimedes as Arthur's teacher. Merlin transforms Arthur into a sparrow, and Archimedes teaches him how to fly. Soon after, Arthur encounters Madame Mim, an eccentric evil witch who is Merlin's nemesis and decides to kill Arthur. Merlin arrives to rescue Arthur, and Mim challenges Merlin to a wizard's duel. Despite Mim's cheating, Merlin outsmarts her by transforming into a germ that infects Mim, thus illustrating the importance of knowledge over strength. On Christmas Eve, Kay is knighted, but Hobbs comes down with the mumps. Therefore, Ector reinstates Arthur as Kay's squire. This causes Merlin to think that Arthur cares more about war games than having an education, and when Arthur defends his choices, Merlin unwittingly transports himself in time to a 20th century Bermuda in his anger for a long overdue vacation. No, this cannot be. Oh my gosh. On the day of the tournament, Arthur realizes that he has left Kay's sword at an inn, which is now closed for the tournament. Archimedes sees the legendary sword in the stone in a nearby churchyard, which Arthur removes almost effortlessly, unknowingly fulfilling the prophecy. When Arthur returns with the sword, Ector recognizes it, and the tournament is halted. Ector places the sword back in its anvil, demanding Arthur prove that he pulled it. Kay attempts to pull the sword himself first, prompting the other knights to insist Arthur be given a fair chance. Arthur pulls it again, revealing that he is England's rightful king. Ector remorsefully apologizes to Arthur as the knights cheer for him. Later, the newly crowned King Arthur sits in the throne room with Archimedes, feeling unprepared for the responsibility of ruling, but Merlin returns from his vacation and resolves to help Arthur become the great king that he has foreseen him to be. And that is the plot of the story. Yay! That's the plot of the movie, ladies and gentlemen. Man, it's a lot of fun. Let's take a look at the cast. And it's a big one. Here we go. Ricky Sorensen, Richard Reitherman, and Robert Reitherman as Arthur, also known as Wart, the boy who will grow up to become the legendary British leader King Arthur. Sorensen entered puberty during the film's production, forcing director Wolfgang Reitherman to cast two of his sons, Richard and Robert, to replace him. This resulted in Arthur's voice notably changing between scenes, and sometimes within the same scene. The three voices also portray Arthur with an American accent, sharply contrasting with the English setting and the accents spoken by most of the other characters. Mary Ness of the online magazine Tor.com suggests, given that the film is about growing up, this problem might have been overcome. No. With the three voices being interpreted as symbolizing Arthur's mental and physical development, but Reitherman inexplicably chose to leave all three voices in for some scenes, drawing attention to the problem that they were not the same actor. She notes even further that two of the voice actors were brothers and sound somewhat similar. The third was not, and sounds distinctively different. Finally, she notes the issue of the American accents of the voices contrasting with the English setting and the accents spoken by most of the other characters in the film, noting the only positive. The vocal issues with Wart to help with distract attention from the fact that the Brits aren't particularly good here either. Carl Swinson as Lord Merlin, an old eccentric wizard who aids and educates Arthur. Reitherman estimates that 70 actors read for the part, but none evidenced that note of eccentricity that we were seeking. We wanted Merlin to be eccentric but not hokey. Swinson initially read for Archimedes, but the filmmakers eventually decided to cast him as Merlin. I know. Junice Matthews as Archimedes. Merlin's crotchety, yet highly educated pet owl and servant who has the ability to speak. Yeah, I love it. Sebastian Cabot as Lord Ector, Arthur's foster father and Kay's father. Though he clearly cares for Arthur, he often treats him like a servant than a son. Cabot also provides the narration at the beginning and end of the film. Oh my gosh. Norman Alden as Sir Kay, Arthur's morose and inept older foster brother and Hector's son. Yes, I love it. Martha Wentworth as Madame Mim, a black magic proficient witch and Merlin's nemesis. Mim's magic. He uses trickery as opposed to Merlin's scientific skill. Wentworth also voiced the Granny Squirrel, a dim-witted elderly female squirrel that develops an attraction to Merlin. Oh my gosh. Alan Napler as Sir Pellinore, actor's friend who announces the jousting tournament. Thurl Ravenscroft as Sir Bart, one of the knights seen at the jousting tournament. James MacDonald as the wolf, an unnamed starving wolf that has several encounters with Arthur and attempts to eat him, but is constantly met with misfortune. Ginny Tyler as the little girl squirrel, a young female squirrel that immediately develops an attraction to Arthur upon encountering him as a squirrel. Barbara Allen as Scullery Maid, Hector's maid, who believes Merlin to be an evil sorcerer. Oh my gosh. And finally, Tudor Owen as the background voice of one of the knights and nobles in the crowd during the tournament. So that's pretty much it. Nothing to worry about here. And that is the end of the cast. Let's move on to the production. And another big one. It's going to be a whole lot. So get ready, guys. Here we go. In February 1939, Walt Disney announced he had purchased the film rights to T.H. White's The Sword in the Stone. However, following the outbreak of World War II, the studio was restricted by the United States government to produce cartoons for the armed services. In June 1944, following the successful re-release of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, which I already talked about on episode 1, so please check it out, Disney had assigned writers to work on The Sword in the Stone, along with Cinderella and Alice in Wonderland. Cinderella was on episode 12, and Alice in Wonderland was on episode 13, which is the episode of that, so please check out these two episodes you haven't seen yet. The project continued to be announced and to be inactive to be in active development throughout the late 1940s and early 1950s. In June 1960, Disney told the Los Angeles Times that following the release of 101 Dalmatians, two animated projects were development, which were Chanticleer and The Sword and the Stone. Around that same time, Disney's elder brother, Walt Disney, attempted to persuade him to discontinue their feature animation division as enough films remained to make successful re-releases. Disney refused, but because of his plan to build another theme park in the United States, he would approve only one animated feature, only one animated film to be released every 4 years. Concurrently, Chanticleer was being developed by Anderson and Mark Davis, who aimed to produce a feature animated film in a more contemporary setting. Both of them had visited the Disney archives and decided to adapt the theatrical tale into production upon glancing at earlier conceptions dating back to the 1940s. Anderson, Davis, Milt Kahl, and director Wolfgang Reitherman spent months preparing elaborate storyboards for Chanticleer, and following a silent response to a pitch presentation, a voice from the back of the room said, "You can't make a personality out of a chicken." When the time came to approve one of the two projects, Walt remarked that the problem with making a rooster a protagonist was you don't feel like picking up a rooster and petting it. Meanwhile, work on The Sword and the Stone were solely done by veteran story artist Bill Peet. After Disney had seen the 1960 Broadway production of Camelot, he approved the project to enter production. Ollie Johnson stated, "Carl got furious with Bill for not punishing Chanticleer after all the work he had put in on it. He said, 'I can't draw a damn fine rooster, you know.' Bill said, 'So can I.' Pete recalled how humiliated they were to accept defeat and give in to The Sword and the Stone. He allowed to have their own way, and they let him down. They never understood that I was trying to compete with them, just trying to do what I wanted to work. I was the midst of all this competition, and with Walt to please too." Oh my gosh. Do what I wanted to work. Yeah, no. Writing his autobiography, Pete decided to write a screenplay before producing storyboards, though he found the narrative complicated with the Arthurian legend woven into a mixture of other legends and myths, and finding a direct storyline requiring sifting and sorting. After Walt received the first screenplay draft, he told Pete that it should have more substance. On his second draft, Pete lengthened it by enlarging on the more dramatic aspects of the story, which Walt approved through a call from Palm Springs, Florida. Yeah. The film continued the Xerox method of photocopying drawings onto animation cells used in 101 Dalmatians. An additional animation technique touch-up was created during production. The animation process had previously involved the use of cleanups, where assistant animators transferred the directing animators' sketches by hand onto a new sheet of paper, which were later copied into an animation cell. Cleanups were replaced by touch-ups, where the assistants drew directly on the animator's sketches before the drawing was copied onto a cell. This made assistants of the demanding animator Carl often fear they'd ruin his time work. His light work. Whew, man, it's a lot of production. Yeah, moving on to the release. The Sword and the Stone was re-released on December 22nd, 1972. The film was again re-released to theaters on March 25th, 1983 as a double feature with Winnie the Pooh and A Day for Eeyore. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Moving on to home media. The Sword and the Stone was released on North American VHS, Betamax, and Laserdisc in 1986 as an installment of the Walt Disney Classics Collection. The film was re-released on VHS in 1989, as well as another VHS and Laserdisc re-release Yes, another VHS and Laserdisc release on June 12th, 1991. It was first released on VHS in the United Kingdom in 1988, following a rare reissue in the following year. Yeah, followed by a reissue of the following year. It was re-released on VHS and Laserdisc on October 28th, 1994, as part of the Walt Disney Masterpiece Collection. It was released on DVD on March 20th, 2001, as an installment in the Walt Disney Gold Classic Collection lineup. It includes two classic short films, A Night for a Day, and Brave Little Tailor, as well as the film facts. The DVD of the film was re-released as a 45th anniversary special edition on June 17th, 2008. For its 50th anniversary, the film was released on Blu-ray on August 6th, 2013. Despite being touted as a new remaster of the film, this release was heavily criticized by home media reviewers for the scrubbed quality of its video transfer due to excessive use of noise reduction. Now you know, my friends, that's pretty much it. Moving on to reception, starting with box office. During its initial release, The Sword in the Stone earned an estimated $4.75 million in North American theatrical rentals. During its 1972 re-release, the film garnered $2.5 million in box office rentals. The film was re-released to theaters on March 25th, 1983, and grossed $12 million. The film has had a lifetime domestic gross of $22.2 million in North America. That's a lot. Moving on to critical reception. The Sword in the Stone received mixed reviews from critics who thought that its humor failed to balance out a thin narrative. Variety wrote that the film demonstrates anew the magic of the Disney animators and imagination in character creation, but one might wish for a script which stayed more with the basic storyline rather than taking so many twists and turns which have little bearing on the tale about King Arthur as a lad. Bosley Crowther of the New York Times praised the film, claiming it is an eye-filling package of rollicking fun and thoughtful common sense. The humor sparks with real knowing sophistication, meaning for all ages, and some of the characters of the 5th century landscape of Old England are Disney pips. Philip K. Shore, reviewing for the Los Angeles Times, described the film as more intimate than usual, with a somewhat smaller cast of characters, animal as well as human. Otherwise, the youngsters should find apart the usual Disney cartoon course. It may not be exactly what T.H. White had in mind when he wrote this third of his sophisticated trilogy about King Arthur, but it's a good bit livelier than the stage Camelot derived from another third. On the review aggregator Rotten Tomatoes, the film has an approval rating of 68% based on 28 reviews, with an average score of 5.95 out of 10. Its consensus states, a decent take on the legend of King Arthur. The Sword in the Stone suffers from relatively indifferent animation, but its characters are still memorable and appealing. Neil Minow of Common Sense Media gave the film 4 out of 5 stars, writing delightful classic brings Arthur to legend to life. In his book, The Best of Disney, Neil Sinyard states that despite not being well known, the film has excellent animation, a complex structure, and is actually more philosophical than other Disney features. Sinyard suggests that Walt may have seen something of himself in Berlin, and that Mim, who hates wholesome sunshine, may have represented critics. Oh my gosh, that's the critical reception here. Move on to the accolades. Stay with reception. Moving on to accolades. The film received an Academy Award nomination for Best Score, Adaptation, or Treatment in 1963, but lost against Irma La Dolce. In 2008, the American Film Institute nominated The Sword in the Stone for its top 10 animated films list, but among the 50 nominated, it did not reach the top 10. Oh, boo! You'll get them next time, my friends. Moving on to the soundtrack. All tracks were written by Sherman. All tracks are written by the Sherman Brothers. Starting with the number, title, then length. Number 1, The Sword in the Stone by Fred Darian. Runtime, 1 minute and 7 seconds. Number 2, Igitus Ficatus by Carl Swinson. Runtime is 1 minute and 49 seconds. Number 3, That's What Makes the World Go Round by Carl Swinson and Ricky Sorensen. Runtime is 2 minutes and 21 seconds. Number 4, The Most Beduffling Thing by Carl Swinson. Runtime is 1 minute and 7 seconds. Number 5 is Madam Mim by Martha Wentworth. Runtime is 2 minutes and 10 seconds. And finally, number 6, Blue Oak Tree by Sebastian Cabot and Alan Napier. Runtime is just 50 seconds. So that's pretty much it. Moving on to the three songs: The Magic Key, The Sand of Times, and Blue Oak Tree. The ending was retained for the final cut. So now you know, my friends. Moving on to the legacy. Several characters for the film made frequent appearances in the Disney's Oz television series. Merlin was voiced by Hamilton Camp. One notable appearance in the series was in the episode Red Day, when she tells Mickey Mouse that he will give him the 50 ups only if he gives Arthur a sword. Word also made a few appearances in the series, usually seen in crowd shots with Merlin. He also appears with Merlin in the audience in the episode Mickey vs. Shelby. After a cartoon ends, Sir Kay was also seen in the episode Ask Von Drake when he tries to pull the sword from the stone with Arthur, Merlin, and Madam Mim. Madam Mim appears as a villain in the spin-off film Mickey's House of Villains. In the past, Merlin frequented the Disney parks, the only character from the film appearing occasionally for meet and greets at Disneyland Resort and Walt Disney World Resort. He appeared in the opening units of Walt Disney's Parade of Dreams at Disneyland Park. He also hosts the Sword in the Stone ceremony in the King Arthur Carousel attraction in Fantasyland at Disneyland. In 2014 and 2015, UK Directive Change for Life Incorporated Hickett's Fickett's as soundtrack to adverts promoting their Disney-sponsored 10-minute shake-up summer program. Yeah, you know. Oh no, another big one coming up. In the comics, let's get right into it. In the Disney comics, Madam Mim was adopted into the Donald Duck universe, where she sometimes teams with Magica de Spell and or the Beagle Boys. She also appeared in the Mickey Mouse universe, where she teamed with Black Pete on occasion and with the Phantom Blot at one point. She was in love with Captain Hook in several stories, in others with Phantom Blot. In the comics produced in Denmark or in the Netherlands, she lost her several stories. She lost her truthfully evil streak and appears somewhat eccentric, withdrawn or morbid, yet relatively polite. Mim has appeared in numerous comics produced in the United States by Studio Program in the 1960s and 1970s, often as a sidekick of Magica. Both of the stories were published in Denmark, Netherlands, and Brazil. Among the artists are Jim Fletcher, Tony Strobel, Wolfgang Schaefer, and Kai Jess Schaefer. Several new characters were introduced in these stories, including Samson Hex, an apprentice of Mim and Magica, Merlin, in Italian, Baggio Bellino, Archimedes, in Italian, Ancietto, and Mim, in Italian, Bagavaggio, debuted in the prolificent Italian Disney comic scene was in a greatly remembered story. Baco Bellino presenta Paperino e la 850 literature. Letters found in English. The Wizard Merlin presents Donald Duck and the 850. Published in 9 parts in Topolino libretto. Number 455 to number 464, from the 16th of August to the 18th of October, 1964. In the story, Scrooge McDuck charged Donald Duck and Huey, Dewey, and Louie with delivering a special gas to power the Olympic torch in the 1964 Summer Olympics in Tokyo, passing through the world's most desperate climates to test its properties. Unfortunately, Donald's car, the 313, breaks down, but Merlin materializes and magically creates a Fiat A50. Fiat was sponsoring the story. Mim, however, wants to obtain the glass and has the Beagle Boys chase after him. The A50 initially put in contrast with the villain's generic Edsel-like car. Thanks to Merlin's magic, displays remarkable aspects that helps the Ducks successfully finish their mission. Man, it's a whole lot of fun. Moving on to video games, another big one. It's gonna be a big one. It's gonna be a long one, so yeah. Let's get on to the video games, and now let's continue. let's move on. Madam Mim made a surprise appearance in the video game World of Illusion as the fourth boss of that game. Berlin is a supporting character in the Kingdom Hearts series, now voiced by Jeff Bennett in Kingdom Hearts 2. In Kingdom Hearts, Berlin lives in an abandoned shack in Traverse Town with Cinderella's fairy godmother. Sent by King Mickey to aid Sora, Donald, and Goofy in the art of magic. He owns an old book which features the world of the 100-Acre Wood, home of Winnie the Pooh. The book's pages, however, have been torn out and scattered across the universe, and Berlin asks Sora to retrieve them for him. He reprises the same role in Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories as a figment of Sora's memories. In Kingdom Hearts 2, Berlin moved to Hollow Bastion to aid Leon's group as part of the Town Restoration Committee, though he is at odds with Sid, who prefers his own computer expertise rather than Merlin's magic. Merlin again instructs Sora, Donald, and Goofy in the art of magic, and again requests that they retrieve the stolen parts of the Pooh storybook. At one point in the game, he is summoned to Disney Castle by Queen Minnie to counter the threat of Maleficent, and he constructs a door lead to Disney Castle's past, the Timeless River, for the trio to explore and stop Maleficent and Pete's plans. In the prequel, Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep, Berlin encounters Terra, Aqua, and Ventus, and grants them each access to the 100-Acre Wood. The prequel also reveals that it was Terra who gave him the book in the first place, after finding it in Radiant Garden. According to series creator Tetsuka Nomura, the world based on the film was initially to appear in Kingdom Hearts 3D Dream Drop Distance, but the idea was scrapped. Berlin returns in Kingdom Hearts 3, where he asks Sora to restore Pooh's storybook once more, though it does not involve finding any missing pages, but his involvement in the story is minimal beyond that, as he spends his time at Remy's Bistro in Twilight Town having tea. Man, it's a whole lot of information right there. And finally, we're going to close it out with a live-action film adaptation. A live-action feature film adaptation entered development in July 2015, with Brian Cogman writing the script and Bragan Taylor serving as producer. By January 2018, Juan Carlos Fresnadillo was announced as director. So now you know, my friends, that will be coming soon to Disney+. So yeah, keep that in mind. And that's the end of The Sword and the Stone! Yay! So yeah, final thoughts for the movie. I don't know about you, but The Sword and the Stone just happens to be good. Love it. But now you know. So yeah, in the end, I didn't like The Sword and the Stone so much, but you get the point. So on scale 1 to 10, I'm rating The Sword and the Stone with a score of 7 out of 10. Good. Very, very good. I just want to say to myself, you just can't handle the truth. You gotta believe yourself to get the gold. Man, it's a whole lot of fun. But yeah, that's only my personal and conservative opinion. Feel free to agree or disagree with any of thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. But with that, guys, it's all over. Yay! Thank you all so much for watching an episode of Movie History, Walt Disney Animation Studios. Hope you guys enjoyed the show, and we will see you later for Moshi Monsters by Ivy, episode 393, as we take a look at Sprocket. So please stay tuned for that. Hope you guys had a lot of fun. And since we're done, we're gonna have the Moshi mashup lead for you guys to go coming soon. Yay! So we'll have season 1, season 18 coming soon. Oh my gosh, we're nearing the end of the season, ladies and gentlemen, so get ready, guys. It's going to be a big one. But otherwise, have a great rest of your day. Thank you so much for watching today. I'm Miguel Sanchez. You be yourself, and I will see you next time on Movie History, Walt Disney Animation Studios. Join me next time for episode 19 as we take a look at the Jungle Book. Next why the jungle is jumping, so do not miss it. Aris, Keppel, Prima, Sanders, Holloway. It's all color by Technicolor, The Jungle Book. That'll be next time on Movie History, Walt Disney Animation Studios, and that'll be it's also gonna be the final movie to be produced by Walt Disney after right before his death in 1966. So, rest in peace, Walt Disney. We're gonna miss you. That being said, thanks for watching. We'll see you for episode 19 soon as we take a look at The Jungle Book. Until then, guys, please remember to like, share this video with the friends, leave a comment down below, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Also, turn on notifications to not miss a new video. Please subscribe to notifications, turn on so not miss a new video from me. Yes, we are on the road to 900 subscribers. And I love it. Thank you all for watching. Have a great rest of the day. We'll talk to you guys again next time. I'm Miguel Sanchez. Signing off for Movie History, Walt Disney Animation Studios. Until next time, like, share, subscribe. We'll see you in another video. Laters!